My name is David Knight. I serve as the director of the Center for the Study of Teaching and Policy at the University of Washington, and also serve as the Associate Professor of Education, Finance, and Policy. My research looks at the economics of education and school finance, and I'm really interested in how states allocate resources to school districts and whether or not resource allocation patterns are equitable and efficient. The field of school finance has essentially come to a consensus that educational investments make a long-term positive impact on students. So when we increase funding in K-12 schools, the research shows that really does matter, and it makes a difference in the lives of youth, both in the short term, we see these short-term impacts, but long-term out, we have studies, longitudinal studies finding that adequate and equitably funded state school finance systems allow students to have opportunities for extracurricular activities and they're associated with greater retention in students and higher high school graduation rates and positive long-term outcomes. Given this kind of new consensus around the positive impacts of money, we're studying very closely how resources are allocated. Our goal in all of this work is for legislators to adopt an evidence-based system, which is one where every student in Washington has an equal educational opportunity to achieve an outcome that is their highest potential. And so we have a set of policy recommendations that the research shows will get us closer to that goal. And so working with community members and system leaders and state legislators to try to understand how we enact those policies is some of the most important work we're doing. A lot of our research at the Center for the Study of Teaching and Policy is quantitative, and we're drawing on these large databases. And so we're sometimes holed up in an office conducting these sort of deep analyses. But when we have research findings that we want to share with the public, we have a very strong and robust research dissemination arm. And so what that looks like is academic papers, but also policy briefs and reports and explainers. And we are out in the community, and we're out in Olympia testifying on bills. If our research is relevant to a particular bill, then we want to share that with state legislators. And so it's really important for us when we do our work that it not just sit on a shelf, and that it eventually gets in the hands of people who can actually make a difference and to use some of these research findings. And that's something that we've really focused on at the center. For people who are interested in learning more about school finance, I would encourage them to read more about the Big Three and the Big Five. And people can always reach out to state legislators and their own school leaders and their own local community schools. And to learn more about the research we're doing here at the Center for the Study of Teaching and Policy. And we're always looking for new members of our research team. And so all of those things I would recommend people to do.